Hi again, everyone. It's Martha again. And this is video part two. And I am going to be covering the IndyCar race that just happened that on Saturday at the Phoenix Speedway. Some highlights from quali that I wanted to get into before we actually talk about the race is a remarkable accomplishment by David Malukas. David Malukas put his car on pole, and this was the very first pole of his career. So congratulations, David! And probably this is the best of very many to come. So that's great. On the not such great kind of like area, willpower hit the wall during qualifying. And this is just very sad because he's been having such a very difficult, challenging start of his 2026 season. He changed teams and now he's with Andretti Global, and he's had three incidents. Well, kind of like four if you think about what happened during the race in like 2 weekends. So it is not the start of the season that he would have wanted or that we were all expecting, but it's willpower. He has a lot of great qualities. He is a great racer. He is going to rebound for this. He had the right, experience, attitude, and of course, he is an outstanding racer. So I really think he's going to rebound from this, and we hopefully are going to start seeing very strong results from him in subsequent races. Um, it is also notable to mention the great quality result that we saw from the RLL team, Rahal Letterman Lengen, with Graham Rahal qualifying third, and Mick Schumacher qualifying fourth. Mick Schumacher is a rookie, one of three rookies that we have in the 2026 season, but it is really an accomplishment for Mick. I mean, he's never driven an oval. His last race in St. Pete, he only, he wasn't even able to complete one lap, as he was being, he was collected into an incident that was not, you know, that he was just a bystander on that incident, but he couldn't, complete more than not even one lap, I think. And so, and even more so because he was the very first one out there to do a qualifying run. So that is pretty good. And congrats, Mick and RLL. So the first four were the two Penskes, David Malukas on pole, like I said, Joseph Newgarden, then Graham Rahal, and then Mick Schumacher. Um, so if we move to the race, David Malukas kept the lead as we started the race. Of course, Joseph Newgarden is super competitive, and he tried to, get that, um, you know, lead from him, but Malukas was able to keep the lead and just stop that Joseph's overtake or the intent to overtake him. Um, Alexander Rossi, who is with ECR at Carpenter Racing, he was on third at the start of the race. He was able to make up three spots from when he qualified, and he was behind and staying close with the Penske cars. Alex Palou was also gaining positions. He was looking very strong, as he always does. He's the reigning champion, and he is, you know, strong and great performer. And he was looking really good at the beginning of the race. We had our reversed yellow coming, or our first, for full course caution coming on lap 11, and that was another rookie, Dennis Hauer, who he I don't know if you've seen the video of what happened to him. He was trying to avoid contacting the wall, and by the way, it was great control, and he was actually able to not hit the wall. But the way he ended up after his maneuvering is like he was backwards, and then he was kept going backwards until he was able to safely like turn around and rejoin the race. But that was just something very wild, kind of that you don't see often at all. So but yeah, that was a very interesting way in which he just ended, and then the way he turned it around. Then on lap 20, we saw an incident between Alex Palou and Rinus VK. Um, they they touch. Alex hit the wall, and Alex had a lot of damage to his car, so he had to retire. Rinus VK continued the race, but it's always hard to continue a race when you have sustained damage from a contact. Uh, Based on what we've seen from that collision between the two, it almost feels as though it was a spotter miscommunication, perhaps. I mean, it's hard to tell, but it looked as though Alex Palou didn't know that Rinus VK was trying to overtake him. So seems like could have been a spotter miscommunication. Then we start getting a very exciting situation and very exciting moment with Christian Rasmussen doing Christian Rasmussen things. And, Christian is one of those drivers who is a very hard racer. He is very good on short ovals. He is unapologetically competitive, and he has no fear. So he was looking very, very strong. He was looking unbeatable. He was able to, navigate his way up, up to the top of the field, getting into those lead positions, and he was looking great, very feisty, and very competitive. Unfortunately, on lap, I think it was like 207, he had um he had a collision, or an incident rather, with Willpower. Willpower had to retire the car. He had a puncture, went to the pits, or I can't remember if he went to the pits. He had a puncture and then retired. I believe he retired the car. But then Christian Rasmussen also sustained some damage. And then, unfortunately, the performance of the car was that it was not as competitive as he was in the early stages. So he had, at the end, he had to settle for 14. But hey, he does great things on these short ovals, and he is really a lot of fun to watch the way he finds his way through the grid, or through the pack, and how strong he looked. And you know in a way, it's also not surprising, not only because he is very good on the short ovals, but there were several teams that tested at the Phoenix Speedway in February. I believe it was February. And at the end of that testing, the ECR team at Carpenter Racing, they tabbed the charts over the 2 days from the testing, and the two drivers on at ECR are Alexander Rossi and Christian Rasmussen. So I guess there's no surprise there that Christian Rasmussen had such a strong race up until the moment of his incident with Willpower. Very strong race from Joseph Newgarden. As we said, he started second and had a strong run, and he had great pace towards the end of the race, and took victory. Um, it is kind of like an interesting fact. Would you probably already know this or have read about this? IndyCar used to race at Phoenix Speedway, and the last race there was in 2018, and that race was also won by Joseph Newgarden. So kind of like a sweet coming back in 2026 and winning it again. In second place was Kyle Kirkwood. Um, he he started 11, and he was able also to get a strong run and being able to gain positions, and actually he led about 47 laps, but eventually you know um he didn't he wasn't able to hold that position, and then Joseph Newgarden got to the top of the podium. In third was David Malukas. So we have two Penske cars in the top three in the podium. I think it's a great way for Penske to start this, well, or not to start the season, because we had some Pete last week, but to it was a great result for Team Penske, especially so after the not so great season that they had last year. So it's good for them to start, or not start again, just to have a great result in the early stages of the championship. Pato, so I'm always going to touch on Pato on my videos as well, because I'm a Pato fan. And Pato had a really great race. It was overall very good, very solid, he was very competitive. And the first stop that that he did, the strategy was such that it looked like he was going to win this race. It got him such a competitive spot that he was looking really good to win the race. Unfortunately, towards the end of the race, he had mentioned that he was having balance issues with the car, so he couldn't keep up that level of competitiveness and performance. So he had to settle for four, but it was a great run regardless. And this was his 100th start in IndyCar. So great result. It's important to stay consistent, delivering consistent results. So championships sometimes, or the difference between a championship or not, is those um, competitive, continuous results. Even though even if they're not wins, just as long as you stay consistent in the points, and you know in good getting good results. That's what I'm trying to say. So next we go to Arlington. Arlington is a new, just like Phoenix Speedway, Arlington is a new addition to the 2026 calendar. And it is just going to be an exciting race, not only because it's new and because it's a street circuit, but the layout is so this is a 2.73-mile street circuit that is going to be in the surrounding area of the Dallas Cowboys AT&T Stadium, but also somehow is just going to be surrounding, or going around, or going nearby the Rangers Glove Live field. So it will be it's going to be a cool race. It's a race that again is a street course. Usually Kyle Kirkwood is pretty strong on street courses, and he has demonstrated that time and time again. But you never know. Palou is going to rebound. So we shall see how he's coming back, and what's he going to do. Scott Dixon is pretty good on street circus as well. And then you can always have a surprise. Pato gave us a surprise at Toronto last year, when he usually, in Toronto, which is also a street circuit, he was never able to win. But Pato is looking very much forward to this race in Texas. Um, so I think it's going to be a very exciting experience and a good race, and we'll see. I really hope Willpower can give us a good result, and can give a good result to Andretti Global. And he also a good result will help him tremendously to be back in the game. um, so anyway, That's kind of like my analysis, my push race debrief, and I will be seeing you next week after Arlington. Let's see how that goes and talk to you soon. Thank you for listening and thank you for being here. And if you like this video, just give it a like, subscribe. And if you have any comments, by all means, just write them down. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.